What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews, and today we're talking game one of the WNBA finals between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty. They're the top two teams all year. Now, I've got some of my best bets to share, but before we do, we've got to recap the picks from the last video. I felt like Oscar the Grouch after that last set in the WNBA. I was living in trash given how bad these picks were. Now, let's talk about it. Firstly, the Feast of Collier. We took our rebounds plus money and that cash easily. Outside of that, my bets were stinky as hell. I bet on Bridget Carlton to bounce back after a terrible game four. She backed it up by playing even worse in game five, missing every wide open three-point shot. I also bet Kayla McBride unders, and I know a lot of people did as well. She set career highs in points in that first half, and absolutely dusted that points line early. I had a bitch-ass parlay with the Lovers and Friends, Dewana Bonnet, and Alyssa Thomas. That was rubbish. Alyssa Thomas saved her worst performance of her career for that game. Now, I know a blowout is completely unexpected, which went completely against the script of my bets, but at the end of the day, the bet's lost, and I've got to own that. So the picks are rubbish. I need to be better. But the good thing is, there's always a bounce back. Always. It happens every single time. And I'm hoping and praying that game one of the WNBA finals is the day that I bounce back and start scooping up those units, baby. I'm excited for this one, and hopefully you guys are too. Now, if that sounds interesting, let's go. So we're jumping into Outline. If you did not know, my favorite tool for doing all my research. Check it out, 7-day free trial in the video description below. Now, I've got two bets that I want to share with you today. I've already placed them, and I've already shared these with VIP. So hit these two bets first, and then I'm going to take you through some of my thoughts and my opinions on a lot of these other players. Now, firstly, to get the right idea for these props, we need to have a strong read on the game script. The game script didn't go our way on our last video, and we paid the price. Now, these teams have played each other 4 times this season, including the Commissioner Cup final. The Lynx, they won those matchups 3-1. Despite this, the Liberty still come into this game as 6.5-point favorites at home. Now, the Liberty do have the rest advantage in this game, but I'm still betting the Lynx. So that's my first bet. Now, I found them at 6.5 plus 6.5 minus 110. Now, they were one of the best teams at covering the spread all season. The biggest advantage that the Liberty have over the Lynx is in their rebounding. When I look back on their previous games, they actually out-rebounded the Lynx 43-25 in the Commissioner Cup final, and they still lost that game. So the Lynx, they are a pack of dogs. And I think that they can hang with them in this game to keep it close. I'm not saying they win in this game, but 6.5 points, give me that. If you want to look at more spread data, Outliers got you covered. But I already knew what I was going to pick the minute I saw those lines came out. But let's get into the player prop. So this is the only player prop I have in this game. And we're looking at Brianna Stewart, and we're taking it over 9.5 rebounds. This is likely going to be a popular play across the board today, and it will be popular for a good reason. Her rebound numbers across the year, check this shit out, is inconsistent as fuck. I don't know any other way to say it. If you look at yearly stats, 45 games this season, she's only hit this at a 42% hit rate, and she's only averaging 8.5 rebounds. Now, in these playoffs, or in her last 5 games, she's averaging 7.6 rebounds, and she had a 14-rebound game in that last one against the Aces. So the line's still at 9.5. So why the hell is that line so high, given her averages as of late? Averages on the season aren't even close to 9.5. Well, the main reason is this. It's the head-to-head matchup with the Minnesota Lynx. She's covered this in 5 consecutive games against them, every single game this season. The matchup for Brianna Stewart is perfect. Now, I spoke about it at the top. The main advantage that the Liberty have over the Lynx is in rebounding, and based on the matchups, it might be tough for Jonquel Jones to clear her rebound line. So given the size that the Liberty have, I think Alana Smith, she's going to see at least 25 to 30 minutes in this game. On the offensive side of the floor, she's going to stretch the defense. She's going to drag Jonquel Jones to the perimeter. So if we have a quick look at Jonquel Jones and her rebounding numbers against Minnesota, you can see over her games this season, she's played them 4 times. 6, 12, 12, and 5. So you can see that there is a world where Jonquel Jones does have some challenges getting some boards. And if she does, Brianna Stewart's going to clean up these 9.5 rebounds easily. And if she doesn't, she'll probably finish on 11, right? That's pretty much what we've seen in the past. Now, Brianna Stewart, she also has a considerable height advantage. Now, she's at 6'4". Jonquel Jones is at 6'6". Now, Nafisa Collier, who's Brianna Stewart's matchup in this one, she's at 6'1". Alana Smith, who's playing center for the Minnesota Lynx, she's only at 6'3". So Brianna Stewart's got the size on both of them. Brianna Stewart, also an absolute menace on the offensive glass as well. She reads her misses better than anybody else in the game. If she misses shots, chances are she's going to be getting those boards. So I love Brianna Stewart to cover her rebound line today, over 9.5. I even encourage you guys to play a little bit on a higher line, 12, 14, 15 rebounds. Why the hell not? There is a chance that that happens as well, but you have to take her rebound prop. My favorite prop in this game, and it's the only one I'm going to be running with. If you watch this video just for the bets that I'm playing, well, you can leave now. But make sure you like the video, drop a comment below before you click away. But for everybody else who wants to have a deeper look at all of these other players, maybe you want to play parlays, maybe you want to bet on somebody else. I'm going to go through some of the key players in this matchup, talk about the things I like, the things that I don't, to give you all the information that you need if you want to put more bets down on this game. Let's run through it together and I'll share with you all my thoughts. Let's talk about it. Who we got as key players? We'll start with the New York Liberty. Let's go with John Jones. So the way that I like to use Outlier, if I want to get a good idea of everything and how these teams are going to players are going to play, I like to look at their PRA and just look to see what the PRA looks in head-to-head matchups and the lead up to this game. It gives me a good snapshot of where their points, rebounds, and assists go instead of having to click through each prop. So looking at Jonquel Jones and her PRA, struggled against Minnesota in the 4 games this season, right? She had 1 monster game. Outside of that, struggled. Whether it was scoring, she had 2 strong rebounding games, but scoring looks to be the challenge. Looking at her last 10, hasn't necessarily been scoring the ball either. Rebounds, highly inconsistent, between 6 and 13. Her rebound line in this game is 9.5. So my gut tells me to bet the under on that straight away. Looking at her points prop, at 13, you'll probably get 13.5. In the playoffs, she's been very close to this number. In head-to-head matchups against Minnesota, she's been relatively sweat-free for the most part. She's going well under or she's going well over. So if you're looking at Jonquel Jones, I'm honestly probably leaning towards the under, and that might be a bit of animosity I have towards the Predator, who always seems to find herself in some foul trouble. So it's probably another reason why you can take the under on Jonquel Jones. There's a chance she runs into foul trouble. But if I was going to take a bet, I'd probably just look at the under in her PRA or under in her points and rebounds, because in order for Jonquel Jones to hit this number, she needs to play great and she needs to play a lot of minutes, right? If she finds any foul trouble, which she always seems to do, she's not going to hit her points and rebounds numbers. That's for sure. When she gets foul trouble, she becomes tentative as hell, which is why you'll see so many bad games. Because if she's tentative and scared, she ain't doing nothing. So for Jonquel Jones, I'd be leaning to the under for sure. Who else have we got here? Sabrina. We've got to talk about Sabrina. Now, Sabrina Ionescu, I believe she's had struggles against the Minnesota Lynx throughout this season. Let's look at the PRA. She probably had 1 good game, but yeah, that's right. Good game out of the 4. This is her PRA numbers, 17, 37, 27, and 23. So she's only hit this in 1 of 4 games against them this season. And I'd love to take the under on Sabrina, but this is the playoffs, and she can be a bit of a beast. Looking at her last 5 games, right? 4 out of her last 5 games, these are all playoff games, she's gone well over this PRA. So, yeah. The head data throughout the season says take the under. What she's been doing recently in the playoffs, knowing she's going to get more minutes and opportunities, it screams to the over. So there's a bit of contradicting data there. So I want to sit back and watch. I'm not taking any bets on Sabrina. I'm not even going to add her into a lotto that I'll probably put together after this and send it out to my VIP members. But Sabrina, I've got no interest in betting. It's a real observation to see how does Minnesota defend her? How does she respond to it? So it's just a sit and watch with Sabrina for now. And looking at Minnesota, we can't go past Nafisa Collier, right? So let's look at Nafisa Collier. Let's look at her PRA. Look at the lead up here. So these are the games against Connecticut. She had 2 slower games, and then once she found her rhythm, she was unstoppable, absolutely smashing this PRA. Tough matchup. From the forward position, it's probably the easier matchup against the Liberty. But against the Liberty this season, she's actually gone under this PRA in 3 out of the 4 games. But the games where she went under wasn't too far off. 31, 30, 31. The game she went over, she had 35. Looking at her minutes, about 35 minutes on average. What she's done lately in the playoffs, she's playing 36.9 minutes, and that was against the Connecticut Sun. You can argue she'll probably get similar minutes here. So if you look at the head-to-head stuff, yes, she was under, but she's probably going to play more than 35 minutes in this game, which is going to be more opportunities. Looking at her shot attempts, look at this: 16, 13, 13, and 13. Her shot attempts against the Liberty were low this season in comparison to what she's done in the playoffs. Last 5 games against Connecticut, averaging 16 shot attempts per game. So I think it's safe to expect more volume out of Nafisa Collier in this game compared to what she did throughout the regular season, and given how important this one is. So I'm not mad enough to bet the under. I'd probably lean to the over, but again, this is another one. We want to wait and see. How are they going to defend Nafisa Collier? How's she going to come into this game? So, yeah, sitting and waiting on Nafisa. Courtney Williams, I think, one worth looking at. She was great last game against Connecticut. Looking at her PRA, though, 22.5. Looking at her last 5, she hit this in 3 out of the 5 games against Connecticut. She hit it in 2 out of the 3 games at home. Against the Liberty this season, though, 4 games, she's hit this in 2 out of the 4 games. Now, what's really interesting here is her games at home. She went under in both of them. Games on the road, played quite well. So this is a road game for the Lynx in New York. The game she did go over, she just finished on 23, though. So it's not like she was smashing this line out of the park. So based off this, look, I'd probably lean to the over for Courtney Williams. But again, these lines are sharp as hell in the playoffs, right? The sports books, they only have one playoff game to really focus in on, and they feel sharp as hell to me. So for Courtney Williams, no massive edge in my opinion right now. It's really just a watch and wait. We've got to see how these teams respond. But there's a bit of contradicting data there as well. We have someone like Alana Smith. Her PRA is only at 16.5. So her line in this game is much lower than what she was doing against Connecticut. So 16.5. She's gone over this in 3 out of the 4 games against the Liberty this season, but pretty much averaging 16.5 in those games: 21, 26, 30, and 25 minutes. Her last 5 games, she only hit this in 2 out of the 3. Last 3 games against Connecticut, fairly low. Minutes, 28.5 minutes per game. So the minutes are definitely up. She just wasn't able to produce enough stats to cover this line. So this might be partly why the line has dropped. I know it was at one of the games that I bet on her. I think it might have been this game here. 15, 6, and 2. A line of 17.5 for that game. And it's come down a little bit. And you could say that the matchup is more difficult. The Connecticut Sun, probably somewhat weak at defender spot with Brianna Jones there. Jonquel Jones, much offensively. So I agree that matchup's going to be tough. In these head-to-head matchups, there's no clear, consistent trend here. She had 2 strong rebounding games. The actual assist numbers are actually looking all right too. Last 3 games against the Liberty, 4, 6, and 4 assists. Now, the one great thing about the Minnesota Lynx, they have most assists per game as a team, and it's not driven by one particular player. A lot of their players tend to rack up 3 to 4 assists. Collier, Alana Smith, Kayla McBride, Courtney Williams, she'll get 6 to 7. But for the most part, their whole offense moves the ball. So anybody can get a lot of assists in this game. So Alana Smith's assists actually just got my attention. And the reason why I didn't see this earlier is there's no specific assist prop, you cheeky bastards. But I do like the assists. So 3 straight games against the Liberty with 4+. Her line is normally at 2.5 or 3.5. I'm just having a look at Sportsbook now to see if I can find some value in this. If they do offer it, we might have found our next play. But let's look at the last 5 against Connecticut. You can see 4 assists, 2 assists, 1, 4, and then 3. So if this line's at 2.5, I absolutely love it to death. And it has been at 2.5 a few times. It definitely wasn't that last game against Connecticut. And you could argue that assists are more difficult to come by against Connecticut given the pace of play. The Liberty, they do play a little bit quicker, more possessions, and more opportunities. So, yeah, I can't find any more Alana Smith assists, but if you can, it's probably not such a bad play. Alana Smith assists. Fucking hate finding good shit like that I can't bet on it. That sucks. All right, who else have we got in this game? Bridget Carlton. Fuck this bitch. I can't believe how bad she was. And I apologize for the language. That's an awful thing for me to say. But it's true, and we're all thinking it if we bet on her the last game. Her points line, 13.5. I had a look at this. So she had 2 stinkers to finish that Connecticut game. She covered this line in 2 out of the 5. Her best game was the first game, right? Head-to-head against New York, she's covered this in 3 out of 4 games. She had 3 excellent games against New York. I want to the over for Bridget Carlton. I really do. But after that last game, like wide open misses, I just don't have confidence to bet her. But if I didn't watch that last game and I was purely just betting on the data that I see and the player that I know, I would bet on Bridget Carlton to go over her points prop in a heartbeat. The line's at 9.5, 10, 10.5. I'd definitely be betting the over on that. There's going to be a game in this series where she scores 15 and 20 points based on what we're seeing here. But after that last game, I just don't have the confidence to do it. My feelings are hurt. I'm all up in my feelings. And then we've got Kayla McBride. Kayla McBride, 3 points are going to be a wagon for her. I think this is a prize picks thing. Yeah. So minus 137. So if you're big on prize picks or any of the other DFS type apps, Underdog, Dabble, Chalkboard, any of the ones that I promote as well. And if you can get Kayla 1.53 pointers, eat that shit up. So she's hit this in all 4 games against the Liberty this season. Last 5 games, she only hit this in 2 out of the 5. But at the same time, the Connecticut Sun allowed the fewest 3-pointers made this season. The New York Liberty, different story. There's top 4, but if you think about the top 4 teams, they are much better than every other team. They are the worst out of the top 4 teams at limiting 3-pointers. And this Lynx offense thrives on 3-point shooting. The Liberty take a lot of 3-pointers. The Minnesota Lynx make a lot of 3-pointers. So there should be stages in this game where it does be shootout, and Kayla McBride to go over her 3-point line is a great one. Her actual line is most likely going to be 2.5. Looking at Bet365 as I speak, and for Kayla McBride, it is 2.5, but it is at plus 145. So it's a plus money play here. 2.5. She has cash in 3 out of the 4. But on the road, check this out. 7 last 8 games on the road, she's gone under. The only game she went over was when she played in New York. So I don't hate that play. I'm not desperate to get more bets out, but Kayla McBride to go over her 3-pointers made prop, I think that's not a bad look either. I haven't taken a look at Bet Nigel Hamilton. She was quiet in that last series, but on her day, she can produce quite well. In her last 5 games, trash, right? This is the games against the Aces and the Dream. I wouldn't say the trash, but not at this line at 13.5 for a PRA, which I think is quite low. She hit this at 66% on the season. Look how green that is. As soon as the playoffs came around, there's been a big drop-off. And partly it's minutes. Leonie Fiebich stealing some of her minutes. So even if we were to look at the head-to-head stuff, she's hit this in 2 out of 4 games, capable of an explosion, but would need to play 30-plus minutes in order to make this happen. As of late, in the last 5, she's getting 25 minutes a night. So, but Nigel Hamilton, if she gets the minutes, it's a great look, but I don't think she's going to. And then we might as well touch on Leonie Fiebich. Her line at 7.5 is quite low. As of late, she was playing quite well. 3 out of 5 games in her last 5. Last 2 games against the Aces. Played very well. And you can see 27.6 minutes, more minutes than Ben Nigel. The problem here is, hasn't done well against the Minnesota Lynx this season. She hit this in 1 out of 4 games. The last 2 games, 26, 27 minutes, averaging 2.5 points per game. So contradicting data. I think Leonie's going to get minutes for sure. Is she going to be productive in that time that she's out there? That I do not know. So this Lynx team, pretty good defensively, I must say. And so the Lynx are the second best team at defending the 3-point line, and that's where Leonie Fiebich lives. So I'm not ready to take any bets on her yet. We'll watch this game. We'll see how the teams respond. Part of me is just super excited. We got a new series, different matchups. That Lynx and Sun team was an absolute grind, and that Sun offense was awful. Both teams very good defensively and offensively. Number 1 and number 2 team in the league. So it's good to see them watch them go at it. It's going to be a bit of a chess match times, but hopefully our bets cash. So just a quick recap on the bets that I'm on. On the Lynx to cover the spread, 6.5. I think that's way too high. It probably moves closer to game time. 6.5, happy to take. I'd play this up to 5.5. Any lower than that, I probably wouldn't. And in terms of the player props, I'm all in on Brianna Stewart to go over a rebound line. The matchup is terrific. The historical form is there. She's going to get minutes and opportunities. Jonquel Jones is probably the risk because she have a big rebounding game, but at the same time, who trusts Jonquel Jones? You know what I'm saying? If you made it this far, let me know in the comments section. Say Stewie is a dog because we're going to need her. to bring the mad dog out for this game. So Stewie is a dog. Put that in the comment section if you made it this far in the video. If you want to throw your support my way, I do have links for some of my partners in the video description below. These guys will pay me a small amount of money if you guys happen to sign up and deposit. It actually goes a long way to helping me out. So if you can sign up to these guys, I'll help you make money off them. I just need you guys to get the ball rolling for me. So check out those links in the video description below. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.